The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Welcome on this Tuesday afternoon. I hope everyone's well. I hope you're all good. I hope the week's off to a good start for you guys. Looks like Spurs have put a lot of fans in a good mood. There's quite a bit of positivity around the club with the appointment of Ange Postecoglou. There's also a lot of people no to Ange Postecoglou. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm somewhere in the middle. First things first, let's have it right. His name is Angelos, otherwise Angelos, and that is Greek for angel. Will he be an angel for Spurs? That's the big question. Angelos Postecoglou. He's a Greek migrant, left Greece, moved to Australia. There's a big expat community of Greeks and Italians in Melbourne, which is where he ended up. In Melbourne, he played for one of the local teams there, grassroots football team. He ended up playing for one of the adult professional teams. It was a team in Melbourne. I can't remember the name. He won trophies with them. He then went on to manage that team, coach, and he became successful as a manager as well. He then, I believe, took one of the youth teams of Australia. So then from being a manager and a player, he now had to learn to develop and became a youth football coach, which I believe he did a bit of work with the under-20s, if I'm right in saying. I could be wrong, but I know he worked with the youth team for quite a few years. I think it was about 6-7 years. Then he ended up coaching a team in Brisbane, and they won their first title in a long, long time, and he managed that team. So he was successful as a player. He was successful as a manager. He was successful as a youth coach. He was successful as a manager again. But again, what level was he successful at? That's what we need to look at. He then went to Japan. He managed a team there, and they won their first title in something like 15 years. And from there, he was scouted, went to Celtic. And again, what's the level in Japan? What's the level like in Scotland? And he turned Celtic into a team that won the treble. He's got a good name for his style of play. He's got a good name in terms of his the respect and the good words that a lot of people say about him from all the jobs he's worked in and where he's coached. So he comes with a good reputation and a good name. The big question mark on Ange Postecoglou is, but at what level has he achieved success? I mean, the Australian League, Japan, Scotland. You know, we don't want to knock these leagues or these places, but realistically, what level are these leagues? You don't have a Man City, a Liverpool, a Chelsea, an Arsenal, a Man United, an up-and-coming Brighton and Aston Villa. You've got Pep, you've got Klopp, you've got Poch. I'm trying to think of all the clubs now. Ten Hag. Got a lot of top elite level managers or extremely good managers in the Premier League. It's a different kettle of fish. But nonetheless, look, I wanted to do a quick show on him because I have done my coaching research on him. I have looked into some small bits. And for me, this could, and I say could, potentially, that's the key word, potentially be a very, very good signing. But we've said this many, many times. We said this with Mourinho. He's a winner. He's a serial winner. We said it with Nuno. Give him a chance. We said it with Conte. He's not a dinosaur. He's relevant. He's elite. He's now. And then with Ryan Mason, he's one of our own. We always seem to come up with these sayings or these boosts of hype to how can I put it? To jump on some kind of new gravy train of glory and success, and this is the one, and it always ends up falling flat on its face because there's other variables at play which we'll discuss. But that's why I'm a bit cautious, and I don't want to get too, I don't want to get excited, but at the same time, I'm not going to be miserable about him being the manager, because there's a lot of good qualities that comes with this guy. We just don't know enough. That's all. Let me quickly say hello to everyone in the chat, and then we'll get into it. Okay, I've just been told to check my text messages. Let's have a quick look. Okay, Brian Daigle wants to jump on. All right, Brian, I will send you the link right now, bro. No worries. Sorry, guys. I'm just sending Brian Daigle the link, and then we'll carry on with the show. Invite guests. Brian Daigle. Okay, Brian has now got the link already, so he'll be joining us. I've also asked Steve if he wakes up, because he's in a different time zone. If he wakes up, I want Steve to come on the show as well, because he's got a lot of knowledge of European football, global football. He was someone that mentioned Postecoglou a while back, saying, you guys should consider him. He's doing quite a good job. And 2-3 weeks later, look what happened. So, but anyway, let me say a quick hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you for tuning in, guys. As always, big yourselves up. We've got Alex. Please take Maguire. Hell no. We do not want Maguire. Bertie Hotspur, big up, guys. Surely when Poch spoke about furniture, he wasn't suggesting no fridge, Alex. Exactly. Big up, Tony Rodriguez. Big up to Rob Ayres. Hi, guys. Let's hope Levy gives Ange manager everything he needs. But are Maguire rumours true? Let's pray to God it's not. Angelos Stelios. Very good football. Tom Thacker, big up to you as well. We've got Ant in the house. Stel, when we signed Nuno, wasn't it for the same reason we have signed Ange now or not? I'm going to get into it. I'm going to come back to this question. I've saved this question because I think it's slightly different, but look, it's just my opinion, okay? It's only my opinion. Big up to you, I can't pronounce this. I can just pronounce the last bit. Ace. Who will you keep loan players, Mr. Starr? I don't think we could loan. Well, listen, I'll come back to that one as well. The 4 years give me hope. Hayden, this was a big talking point, and I'd just like to remind people yesterday, right? This clown on YouTube commented on a video where I questioned, why is it only a 2-year contract? So what should we do? Copy Chelsea. Klopp had the same deal. Pep had the same deal. You're clutching at straws, he says to me, pretending to be outraged. Basically tried to have a go at me because I criticised a 2-year contract. Well, guess what? He's been given a 4-year contract. Hello? So you can have a go at me, but I don't say things because of hate. I say it because of good reason. And I did point out that Pep, he was given a 3-year contract. And Jurgen Klopp was given a 3-year contract. And last night on Tottenham away, we said to not give Ange Postecoglou a minimum 3-year contract. That says you aren't serious about a rebuild. There is no project underway. And you are showing very little confidence in the manager that you've just appointed to deliver the project, the rebuild. And this is what I said yesterday. How you doing, Brian? Welcome to the show, bro.
All good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just reminding everyone. I had a couple of clowns, the Levy lovers. They came for me yesterday because I criticised, why is it only a 2-year contract? How can you rebuild with 2 years? Where's the confidence in the manager for a long-term succession plan? There makes no sense giving any manager a project or a rebuild and then only a 2-year contract. And they all had to go at me, no, but that's how everyone does it. It's the new normal. Look at what happened in this club and that club. You just hate Tottenham, blah, 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 blah. Next day, breaking news, 4-year contract. And I just sat there thinking, do you all want to apologise to me now? Or are you just going to hate on me because I've got an opinion you don't like? Brian, surely you agree. If you're realistically, whether Levy backs him or not, we'll come to that. But
Yep.
If you're going to have a plan, a long-term, a project, a rebuild, the manager's got to be here for at least 3-4 years, because we're going to go through some difficult times if we genuinely rebuild, and you can't just ditch the manager mid-journey, right? How do you see it in terms of the contract length?
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you, Stel. You're right. I mean, we saw each other Sunday, and we were even talking about this and the length of contract. So I'm completely with you on this. I mean, the thing that I'm finding hard is, even I've been saying, you know what, I'm delighted with this appointment. And they're now saying Levy out must be finished. This is it. We're done. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I think the thing people are having a go at I keep saying Poch when I meant to say Postecoglou. They're having a dig at him, but it's like, well, wait a minute. You all wanted attacking football. Well, now you've got a manager that's going to play attacking football. And now it's, he's only done it in Scotland and Japan and Australia. What's he know? It's like, you can't win. It doesn't matter what way you look at this. I think this guy coming in is going to be a breath of fresh air. People got to remember the most successful managers we've had under Levy have been those managers that no one thought would. Your Martin Yoles, your Harry Redknapps, your Pochettinos. They probably have been the most successful under Levy, and I think we have another one here who's going to be a breath of fresh air, and we need to give him time. So you're right, still with your question. The length of contract is exactly what you want to see, a 4 year as opposed to the 2.
I just think it says it's a sign of confidence. Like, we're confident in the person we've signed. We're confident in what we're going to do next, and it sends a message to that manager. We believe in you for 4 years. Whether or not they honour it, whether or not it all goes tits up or works, we don't know. But for me, I remember when Conte got a 2-year deal, half the Spurs fans, most of the rival fans all said, 2 years, he'll be gone. What's a 2-year contract? How can that be serious? Why isn't he committed longer? Blah, 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 blah. So when Postecoglou, the reports were that he was going to get a 2-year contract, I'm thinking, hold on. Why are we treating this the same way Conte's contract was treated? And that just, I don't know, it baffled me, Brian. I didn't understand how we can just cherry pick when it's okay, when it's not okay, when it's the same thing.
It's always the way, still, isn't it? It's the life of a Spurs fan. If we're not arguing or bickering or moaning about something, I think the stadium implodes. So there had to be something to argue about. But we see what it brings us. Everyone was saying the standard of football has been atrocious for the last 4 years since Poch has left, and all you wanted to see was attacking football. Well, now you're going to get it. Now you're going to get it. And we might listen. In the first, what we got to make sure is if we lose the first, let's say 4 out of 6, or even 4 out of 4, don't turn on the manager. This manager is coming in. I said on We Are Tottenham TV earlier, Stel, I wonder if you agree. For me, Ange Postecoglou is coming in with the biggest mess I think any Spurs incoming manager has had to deal with in our history. There is so much stuff he's got to sort. I can't think of a manager to come in where there's been more at work from top to bottom.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I'll answer what you just said. I just want to quickly get a super chat out of the way. Swifty, big up yourself. Thank you so much, my man. I don't want him, but I wish him well. Big up, Stel. Big up to you, Swifty, as well. Hope you're doing well, my man. Yeah, look.
We've got a phone call. Give me 2 secs.
Yeah, cool. Bit of Tottenham Hotspur music. Yeah, no, Brian's right, because we've been saying it on our Monday night podcast show for about 2-3 months now. We've got like an 8-week window before the season starts. 1, to get rid of all the players that just aren't good enough. 2, to sort out all the players that are coming back on loan. What do we do with them? Who stays? Who goes? Then we've got to bring in replacements for the positions that we're weak in. Then we've also got to trim down the squad, because if you count all the players coming back, plus what we've got like a 34, 35-man squad. There's at least 10 players that can't be at the club just so that we have the right size squad. So you've got players that need to be shipped out, loan players coming back, squad size is 10 too big already, needs to be trimmed, players that need to be signed, Harry Kane's contract, director of football, and Postecoglou doesn't start to the first of end of the month, same as Scott Munn. So there's a hell of a lot that he's inheriting to deal with. And I don't think he's ever been into a club where he's had to deal with so much so soon. But look, at the end of the day, I don't know if you watched our show yesterday, Brian, but one thing I said was that if we have a bad start, 10 games, like a really shocking start, and at the same time, Arteta, Pochettino hit the ground running,
yep,
I can see fans turning. I just don't think fans have got the patience for it, which is why the club needs to come out and talk. The new director of football or Scott Munn, they need to come out and speak before the season starts and say, look, there's going to be bumps. It might be quite rough at times. You just got to trust what we're going to do now, which none of us do, of course, because we don't trust a damn thing Enoch or Levy do. We never will until we actually see real change. But yeah,
this is where you're right. I mean, as I've said, and I speak for you as well, there has never been an issue about myself or you backing managers. We back our managers from the second they're in till the second they leave, or until it's.
I was Conte into the last second.
Yeah. I mean, right at the end, I was starting to question it, but I was still him in. I was questioning some of the things he was doing, but who am I to say that I know more than Conte, which I obviously don't. We always back a manager. We always back a manager. The people that turn on managers, especially like you're saying, if they turn after, let's say those chain of events happen where one of the two you mentioned get off to a flyer and we don't turn on him. People have a go at you and me for turning on Levy. Well, we've been like this for 15 years. There's no proof that anything is changing with this man. So until I see it constantly, it won't change. And we've got people have got 15 years, 3 years, 12 years, whatever you want. Ange Postecoglou starts his job on July the 1st. He has this month to probably do what he's got to do and try and let the board know the players he wants, get them in, and then he walks in on July the 1st, and there'll be a lot of people thinking, there'll be, don't get me wrong, there'll be a lot of people at the club thinking, who? What the hell is this guy going to do? Like our bad eggs have done. But people were the same with Arsene Wenger. People were exactly the same down the road with Arsene Wenger. Ian Wright speaks about it famously. Who the hell was this guy? What has he done? And then within months or weeks, they could see the difference. This is going to take time. So I don't care if we get off to a bad 2 months. Poch, look at Poch. He almost lost his job if it weren't for that Harry Kane free kick against Aston Villa. Because he wasn't given time. We have to give this guy time. We really have to.
Any rebuild, any project is going to require time and it's going to require patience. It's just whether the only bit that's lacking is trust. Do we trust this board to do the right thing? Because we know there's going to be change for sure. There's things will change. But I can see us getting to a point where we say, right, we're that top 4 team again, whether it's in 2 years, 3 years time, whenever. At that point, we've got to then say, are we going to change our ways and really go for it now? Or are we going to do the same old? Happy being top 4, happy that fans are happy that we're top 4, and just being the bridesmaid, but never the bride. Oh, that's the bit I'm looking for. The actual rebuild and whatnot. Look, it'll be interesting to see how they do it and what it looks like. But for me, if we get back to where we were with Poch, it's what they do then. That's the bit for me where I would either say, right, Enoch in, Levy out, whichever way I go. But I'm not going to forgive this ownership for the last 23 years, Brian, of what they've done. They don't get a free pass.
I've said, before I get back onto Postecoglou, I've said, and you know this still, it will take 5 years minimum of a manager being backed. Big up, Rob. I'll send you a WhatsApp later on, mate. But yeah, it's going to take 5 years of constantly having a manager backed and letting him do what he needs to do before I even contemplate changing my stance on that guy. But like you're saying, I think what we've got to do as Spurs fans right now, I've seen a lot of Spurs fans on social media, on YouTube channels saying, oh, now with Postecoglou, top 4, we're back in the race, or we'll be league title challengers within a couple of years, or we're going to win an FA Cup. Listen.
Relax.
I'm not, do you know what? My target this season right now is for Ange to try to get it back into Europe and hopefully have a good cup run, and seeing that there is no Europe, take these cups seriously and try to win them. And let's look, I mean, it's different at Celtic, but he's won a double and a treble. So it's a guy that we know that takes the cup competition seriously. So hopefully this manager will do it. But I'm not setting any top. I'm not saying, oh yeah, we've got to get top 4 minimum this season. That is way, 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 way too much to say to a guy, just come in and do that. We've got to lower our expectations because Newcastle will be spending. Man City will be doing what Man City do. Liverpool, look, they're already flexing their pecs. They look like they're getting McAllister from Brighton this week. Yeah. They're flexing their pecs. We're not going to get anything done till July. So saying that we're going to compete and go for Champions League right now, don't get me wrong. If we get there, then it's a blessing in disguise. A well done, an incredible achievement. But that's what it will be, an incredible achievement. That's not my expectations for this season. My expectation is not to concede 63 goals in a league.
Brian, we just want to see defence not give away stupid goals week in, week out. We want to see more people scoring other than just Harry Kane. I think, Chris Callan did a show yesterday saying top 4. He's at his look, with all due respect, he's lost his freaking mind. It's just happy clapping over the top. Hurrah, relax. We've been here before. Like I said, with Mourinho, he's a serial winner. He's elite. Yeah. Then it was Nuno, give him a chance. He could be the right fit. Yeah, okay. Then it was Conte. He's elite. He's not a dinosaur. He's relevant now. He's a proven winner. Okay, how'd that work out? And then it was Ryan Mason. He's one of our own. We just need to chill with this guy. The one thing I'll say with this guy that I like, Brian, and it gives me a little bit of confidence, but again, I'm not getting carried away, is that I don't know how you feel about it, but there's not one bit of negative, bad baggage that comes with him, right? If you think of Mourinho, he had a history of flare-ups with other managers, the media, Man United, him and Pogba had a big bust-up. Then there was that famous interview where he sat there saying, respect, three titles, respect. Yeah. And then, Nuno was just a puppet. We're going to make you proud. We're going to make you proud. All right. And then you had Conte, which had a history of when he doesn't get what he wants, he just blows it all up, exposes the board, exposes the champ. This man, when you look at his background and you listen to people talking about him, they do nothing but praise him, nothing but respect. They loved working with him, whether it's coaches, chairman, players, media. He's just got a way of being maybe not necessarily being everyone's favorite, but he manages to gravitate everyone into a place of where, you know what, I like you, man. I really like you. I've got a lot of time for you. And he seems to come to Tottenham without any baggage. And for me, that gives me a little bit of hope, because I don't think we can have anyone where there's that niggling feeling that he might erupt, he might explode, he might, just say things. Even Poch, he kind of broke a bit. Don't call me the manager no more. Just call me coach. There's no point calling manager. I think if I win the Champions League, I'm going to leave. He doesn't seem to do that. He always seems to have a very calm, self-controlled way about him in front of the public. I mean, would you? I'll give you an example, Brian. Check out this quote. I'll bring up a quote. Kind of backs up what I'm trying to say here. Right? He's talking about football fans who support the clubs that he manages, right? Of course, the fans love goals. They love the exciting things, but they want to know you are putting in a shift, because they do on a daily basis. They spend their hard-earned money on getting a season ticket to see the team play. They want to see the people representing them putting a shift in as well. That can only go down well, right?
Put it this way. There's a couple of people I've seen in the comments and a lot of people online saying that he'll just be another yes man. We don't know. Categorically guarantee you he will not be. He is very, very, very far from a yes man. If things aren't going his way, believe me, we will know about it. And the other thing I will say,
Brian, why'd you say that? Why'd you say that?
So I've been doing a lot of research on him over the last 4 or 5 days, watching loads of documentaries, watching loads of people giving their say about how this man operates. And this man, we'll call it as it is, There's speeches where he was at Celtic, I think it was Celtic, and his team were losing a very, very crunch game. And when I say this man ripped, do you remember those old days where we used to see like the videos of like the managers throwing the blooming the teacups and what? This man takes no prisoners. As much as he handles the media very, very well, and the media get on with him, and he knows how to handle the media, which is a big thing, as we know, when it comes to this job now, not just Tottenham, any job. He is very, very, very far from a yes man. He will not be a lapdog, I can assure you of that. But the one thing that you said, Stel, everywhere he has gone, he is adored by the players and the fans, loved by the players and the fans, respected by the players and the fans. And people going, oh, he's only done it in these leagues. Well, he can only win it in the leagues or compete in the leagues he's been given the opportunities to. It's not his fault that he hasn't been offered a Premier League job before and he can't prove it. Well, he's now got the chance. He is far, far, far from a yes man. And that people will see. Terence, I can guarantee you he ain't, mate. I can guarantee you. But he will do. Like you said, Stel, he comes with no baggage. He comes, and I think that's hugely important.
Yeah, like there's no. All I see is, I like to read ex-coaches' body language when they speak.
Bring up the last comment from Ryan McFarlane.
Yeah, I will. I just want to quickly read this one from Lanky, who's a Celtic fan, who says, I'm a Celtic fan. Ange won't mess about and he will get rid of your deadwood and wants players to join him that's willing to push themselves to the highest level, and Ange ain't a yes man. So we've got a Celtic fan, guys, who's never been on our show before. He's never, ever been on Tottenham Way. Thank you for jumping on, Lanky, and sharing that with us. He has no benefit of putting this comment here. He's just lost his manager. If anything, he should be angry and upset. But he's putting... This is what I mean, Brian. This is a positive message of someone that's dealt with him. This is what I mean. I only hear good vibes about this guy.
So I heard from a few Celtic fans have reached out to me on a couple of tweets about it, and they said, you know what? And maybe Lanky can put a comment about this. Apparently, when he did come, when he was announced, Celtic fans were like some of the Spurs fans are being right now. And we're like, this is a joke. Who the hell is he? Ange, who, whatever. But it only took him a little while to see what he's doing and how this man operated and how he conducted himself to win him over. And you could even see at the end, when they won the treble, that they pretty much knew that this may be a lot further down the road than it was. And obviously we now know it's official. And there are Celtic fans that are really upset, and I don't blame them. It's their manager that they've taken to their heart, fallen in love with, adored. But there you go. But yeah, this is where we are now. So and Lanky has responded with saying, yeah, when he came here, it was this is the thing. He comes in as a manager, like you said, with no baggage. The only thing he's got is absolute love by the fans and the players of where he's been. And that's what you have got to look at. It's a huge thing.
I think it's a massive positive, because then no player, no coaching member of staff, no board member can have any excuses to say, oh, but this guy, he's got a history of it. Because what's good about him not having any baggage is this. There's something I saw here from Val. But will Levy make Ange explode? I'll tell you what, and I said this last night, Val, if he does, we'll be the first club to do it to this guy, and it will be us that loses all credibility. No one else, because everywhere else he's got a good name. If he suddenly comes in, he gets a bad name, you know it's 100% on the ownership. But most importantly of all, if the manager can win over the fans, then I think Levy's in the corner. Levy won't be able to win the battle, because he's won the battle up to now in getting away with bloody murder at this club. But I think, Brian, if the manager can win over the fans with good football, showing that he's not a yes man, he's here, he means business, and he begins to do a good job, I think that actually strengthens the cards for those that know that Levy is the problem.
Yep. Yeah, and like you said, again, people are saying when it comes to this, we got to look at this as well. When it comes to transfers now, he has an untapped, like Wenger did with France. He knows the.
1 second, Brian. Just give me 1 second. Carry on.
Yeah, he knows the Far East market incredibly well. And there were Japanese players he brought to Celtic that have absolutely thrived again under his leadership. When it comes to transfers, when we had Conte and Mourinho, you start automatically assuming the big name players, the Bastonis, the Skriniars. This guy may have a completely different idea of what kind of players we bring in. He really might. But you know what? I'm going to trust his judgment. If he says I want player XYZ and it costs 12 million, then bring in player XYZ. There should be no excuse this time. This even more so. This even more so now because 12 million pound players, or whatever it may be, at the cheaper end of the cheaper end of the transfer policy. There's no excuses why they're not brought in. There should be no excuses to, his wages were too high, or we went in with a £4 million bid, but he wouldn't, and it was. There should be no excuse now why Ange does not get in his first half, his number one picks. There should be absolutely no debate over the amount of money paid, because it will be not a premium of the players that we have been linked to previously. So let's just hope he is completely, totally, and utterly backed.
Well, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because there were reports. I'm just trying to find the one. I believe it was this one here. Again, you don't know what to believe nowadays, but there were reports. Gary Jacob saying that Postecoglou has been told that he will have to work within his means in the transfer market after Antonio Conte tried to pressure the club to spend significantly. Now, we're up against some heavyweights. City, Arsenal are going to spend big this summer. From what I've heard, they've already spent big under Arteta. We're up against Liverpool, who are, like you said, they're about to sign McAllister. Liverpool got no problem chucking £80 million at a player like they did with Darwin Núñez. We're up against Chelsea, who just spend for fun. We're up against Man United, who spent 200 million on like 3 or 4 players only last summer. We're up against Newcastle, the richest club in the world, who now got Champions League as well, so they're probably going to go for it. In fact, Newcastle are buying the clubs that own Messi, Benzema, and Ronaldo, which then means they can loan them to Newcastle. So if you can't buy the player, just buy the club that owns them. That's what Newcastle are doing. If you haven't read the report, it's crazy. It's just they've just found a way to beat FFP. So it's insane. It's insane. But so we're up against some heavyweights. So if there's going to be like restraints on how much money we can spend, who we can buy, and whatnot, look, there's no manager that's Superman, and this guy, as good as he might turn out to be, and I go back to what I said, Brian, he might get us to top 4. We might get back to those Pochettino days, maybe, right? Big maybe, but there's going to come a point where you're just going to have to go big on certain talent in order to compete with the teams that have got those elite talents. You can't just build a team on £5 million, £1 million, £10 million players in the Premier League. You can do it in Scotland, you can do it in Japan, you can do it in Australia, you might be able to do it in Belgium and other countries. This is the Premier League. You can't just do it that way. It's impossible. It's got to be a mixture of youth from the academy. It's got to be a mixture of some gems, £5 million, £10 million. It's got to be a couple of mid-level 30, 40 million pound players. And there's got to be a number of 60, 70, 80 million pound players. And you just got to build a team like that. If we're just gonna go for these cheap bargain, 30, 25s, 10s, I just don't see it, man. I think everyone's deluded if they think that.
I don't. Do you know what it is? Still, I mean, when he first comes in right now, what he's going to want is he's going to want tried and tested, and people he knows like the back of his hand. And it may be 30 million, 40 million, may be the top whack of our signings, as in managed price tag this season. But he's got to do what he's got to do. I mean, in regards to what you said or that tweet said about working within his means, that's like the first thing that gets said. Once you've signed the contract, oh, by the way, that transfer money that we said, it's this. You know this. I mean, a lot of media speculation has already come out that Brentford want 40 million for Raya and Daniel Levy's offered 20. So this is what we listen. We all know what's going to happen when it comes to transfers. We all know what's going to happen. It's part and parcel. But this is the thing. If Daniel Levy wants to come out and say he has to work well within his means, so if Daniel Levy does find a player at 12, Postecoglou does find one at 10, 15 million, there are absolutely no excuses whatsoever why you don't just go and get the deal done and say, right, there's 15 million, done. There's no excuse. 15 million pound transfers are certainly living. Let's be serious. No matter what you want to say, we can afford 15 million pound transfers as if they're going out of fashion. There is no, and also adding to that, the players going out. A lot of this is who he allows to leave. Let's just say, for instance, it's Ben Davies. I'm just picking a name out. And Ben Davies, Daniel Levy wants 20 million. But a bid for, let's say, 12.5 comes in. And Ange says, do you know what? With that 12 million, I can put it towards this, get it gone. Don't hold out for the 7.5 million. You've had him for 9 years. I can't remember how much we actually bought him for. Get him out so I can bring someone in that I know will play in my team. If we don't do that as well, then that's a huge problem. It's not just about the coming in. If he's got to live within his means, you've got to give him the power, or Scott Munn, to say, right, this player's gone and could do this with the money, let him go, and we'll see what Mr. Daniel Philip Levy has to say. It's a huge part of this. The outgoings is nearly as put. I think this season the outgoings may outweigh the incomings in what's more important, because we can't just keep having these players that have been there for 9, 8, 7 years, and it's the same shit.
Look, in fact, there was a question that I said I'll come back to. There's a few that I wanted to come back to. One of them was actually that particular question, Brian. Who will you keep loan players, Mr. Stell? I don't think we can loan all of them at once. I agree. Now, look, I'll say what I think, then we'll go around and see what the other guys think. For me, I think there's about 8 players coming back. So we've got Ndombele, Lo Celso, Brian Hill, Winks, Spence, Udogie, Rodon, and there's one more. I can't remember who it is. Who's that? Reguilon. Well done, Eugene. Reguilon. And then we've got 2 young players coming back on loan. We've got Parrott and Dane Scarlett. Now,
Harvey White as well.
Harvey White. Okay, so we've got quite a few youngsters. So of them, realistically, looking at how Ange Postecoglou plays, and I will bring up a tactics board in a minute and show you how he plays, but I just want to get everyone's view on this. I personally had no issue with Lo Celso. I think technically he's a good player and could play in a Postecoglou system. Now, a lot of fans might disagree, so I would give him I'd give him a go under Postecoglou. I don't know why we got rid of Reggie. That never made sense to me. He had the second highest cross completion stats of any player in the Premier League, and we got rid of him. And now we've only got one player that can cross the ball at the club, Perisic. Well, Porro's coming. He's not too bad, actually. So them 2 I'd keep. Ndombele, I love him to bits. I've always defended him, and I'd be happy if he had another chance. But he just doesn't work hard enough. And the one thing a lot of people keep saying who support Celtic, Postecoglou doesn't take people that don't work hard. You're out. Bye-bye. He doesn't want to, no matter what the talent. So I don't think he's going to, sadly, I don't think he's going to work at Spurs. Rodon, no. Spence, I don't know. And Udogie, I don't know. I just haven't seen them play enough football in top flight Premier League football. So I don't know how anyone could assess them 2. So they deserve a chance because we just don't know. Winks, no. No. I think he's part of that old regime as well that needs to go out. And then I can't remember the rest. But so some I would give a chance to. The others would be absolutely not. Of the youngsters, It's whether they're ready or not. The manager's got to make a decision. Don't forget, we've got youngsters that aren't out on loan that are here right now, like Alfie Devine. He hasn't had a chance yet. Then you've got 2 youngsters that came on last game of the season at Leeds United. One of them was Craig. I can't remember the other one. They came on.
Ebert and Craig. Yeah.
Yeah, they got minutes ahead of Alfie Devine. Pape Sarr, he's at the club. He's young. So who you keep, who you get rid of is a conundrum. But I think there's first team players who need to get rid of first out of everything, if I'm honest with you. Dyer's got to go. Sanchez has to go. Ben Davies, he's been here too long. He's got to go. Højbjerg, I'm 50-50 on. Skip, I'm so happy for Skip. I think people are now going to see what a player Skip can potentially become. I think all those that hate the fact that I keep defending Skip, I think now you'll be able to see what it is that I see. But let's find out. Otherwise, I'm not convinced by Richarlison. I'm being honest with you. Porro, I think, is going to thrive. Sessegnon, I think he's done. I think Sessegnon needs to go. Tanganga, again, has he been given a fair chance? I don't know. Hugo's got to go. Fraser Forrester's got to go. That's kind of how I roughly see it. Brian, what do you think?
So first of all...
Unless I haven't covered it already. Oh, by the way, very quickly, big up to Sanut for the super chat. Thanks for watching, brother. Appreciate that.
So yeah, what I will say is I think Porro, I actually think I prefer seeing him as a right winger as opposed to right wing back or right back. But I looked at it, and if you look at it now, I thought the right side was going to be an issue, but I completely forgot about, until about 2 hours ago, I've completely forgot about Jed Spence. So on that right side, you can have Kulu and Porro, who can also be there to rotate and keep the best out of them, because we all know that Kulu weren't himself this season. He was overplayed and undervalued, as many players have been under Levy. And then you got Spence and Emerson at right back. So I like that as a 4, and Porro can still go back if he needs to as a right back or right wing back. Weetabix has to go. And when I say Weetabix, I mean Sessegnon. Because that's what he's made out of. I swear to God, that's what I call him now. He's so Weetabix has got to go. I don't care if we sell him or rip up his contract. He has to go. But the players coming back, Udoji's going nowhere. Udoji's going nowhere. He looks a real talent, like you said. Still, I haven't seen enough of him, but what I have seen looks a talent. But we can't just assume he is going to fall straight or slot straight in and do wonders. People know yours and my thought on Clement Longap. Let's just hope that guy is absolutely nowhere near this team anymore. But we're talking about players coming back in. Harry Wink's got to go. Listen, like I've said before, he's a Spurs man. He loves Tottenham. And listen,
he's done.
Not good enough. Done. It's not his fault. We want to be up here, and he can't do that. It's not his fault. So he's got to go. Joe Rodon, listen, I'll give him a go, but not as, right, you come in, you're our brand new centre-back. But then you say that, look, and Lanky will testify to it. I think he said it. Look what Ange just done with Cameron Carter-Vickers. He has turned a young defender that we could not do anything with or find room with or whatever. And yes, we can kill. It's only Scotland, yada, yada. Cameron Carter-Vickers for the last 2 years has won 5 trophies. At Celtic.
So is Ndombele, Galini, Toby Alderweireld, Lamella, Brian Hill.
Exactly.
Everyone.
So Joe Rodon, I will keep, but as backup, because I think that I just think there may be something you can work with. Brian Hill keep, but if we do keep, send him out on loan to a fucking Premier League team or a Championship team and let him get English minutes and deal with the physicality of it. Stop sending him back to Spain where he's comfortable and he knows the league, and the league isn't the same as the Premier League. So don't send him out. If we're going to see what this man has got, like Will Stewart said, get him in the gym, because that's something he definitely needs, and send him out on loan within England. For crying out loud. Eugene, you take over, brother. One sec.
All right.
Eugene, what do you think about players in, players out, the loan players that are coming back? There's a lot of players at this club. Like, when you add it all up, Eugene, so everyone understands, the current squad plus the players coming back, it's a 35-man squad. It's 35. Yeah. So before we buy, we need to get rid of 10 just
Minimum.
to have the size of squad you're allowed by the rules. On top of that,
homegrown factor.
we've got the homegrown factor. We've got players in the academy that we haven't integrated in. So what do you see needs to be done with
All right,
players?
guys.
Oh, and by the way, next year the rules change. You can only loan out 6 players, not 8.
let's hope Spurs remember that, right? Okay. But guys,
Yeah,
I'll put a caveat on all what I'm going to say now, right? Because this is all going to be speculation of what we think, okay? Because deep down inside now, okay, fair play. Ange has got a four-year contract. I don't know whether the 4-year contract is a straight out 4-year or is it a 3+1?
No, it's
we
4
don't
years.
know yet.
4 years.
It's a straight out 4-year. Has he signed it? That's another question, right? Has he done
the club put an official announcement out, so they would only do that if it's official. So he is the Spurs manager. It's done.
Okay. Big that's good. Big up to him. I will always support every Spurs manager that comes in, right? But the problem now is that's why I said put a caveat in it, right? All the players that we're talking about, all the players that maybe he's thinking about, whether he wants to get rid, whether he wants to keep, right? We still have to think the factor there is that will Levy let him do it? That's one thing. Okay. We know. Still, we've been talking about this for the past 2 years, right? Dyer shouldn't be here, Davis shouldn't be here, right? Now we see Sessegnon shouldn't be here, right? And even with what I call Perisic coming in under Conte, we see that maybe even Perisic shouldn't be here. There's so many players that shouldn't be here. But the thing is that we can't get rid of 20 players at one time. And we have got 8 players on loan coming back, not including Udoji and all that, because Udoji was already out, haven't even come in yet. So the young players, we most probably have to include them in the squad. The problem comes into when we talk about Ndombele, Reguilon, Rodon, Celso, Wings, the list goes on, right? What are we going to do with those players? Number one, I can't say anything at the moment because in the end of the day, it's still up to the manager to evaluate what he wants and what he can do with them, right? And to tell the truth, this manager coming in, I will support him. I won't berate him. I'll give him 100% my support because being a Spurs fan, we want our club to be better, correct? We want our club to be better. But the problem is that the meddling chairman that we have, will he allow him to do his job? That is my worry. That's why I've not done a football show for the past 3 weeks because I'm sick and fed up of it. And I've just been doing Levy out shows. That's all. But fair play. Fair play. We have got a manager now. Okay. We can speculate on what we want as fans in and out. But deep down inside, I can tell you, I don't care because it's out of our hands. And at the end of the day, all we have to do is that we have to sit and wait and see what's going to happen. Because while what you said earlier, Stel, is correct, if next season Dyer is still a defender,
well, this is the thing. Yeah, but if next season we start and we've got Dyer, Sanchez, Longap, Davies, right? Then I'll tell you now, the manager loses all credibility. The manager himself will get turned on because they will say, why have you, the new manager of Spurs, kept these players? And if he can't get rid of them, why are you playing them? Right? If we get ourselves in that situation, then Eugene, I'll tell you now, he'll be gone by Christmas because the team will implode. The team will not survive by Christmas with these players, especially, and it's something we need to talk about now as well, actually. Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Two things. Number one, is this manager enough to keep Kane for that final year? And two, now that it looks like, and again, like, you know, I'm with you, Eugene. I don't trust Levy until I actually see it with my own eyes, right? The proper change. Assuming now this is a rebuild, we're going to clear out the players and we're going to start playing good football again. And we're going to slowly build back to what we once had under Poch and try and push on, right? Assuming all of that, does it not make sense to now move Kane on and fund that rebuild? Again, so many assumptions because it's Levy, assuming all of that money goes into those new signings, right? This is
No, wait.
Where are we at with Harry Kane now?
Goes into the proper new signings, right?
That's
The players,
what I mean.
yeah, the proper new signings. We Stel, Brian, and we have been watching Spurs doing this over and over and over again under this owners, right? They don't buy players that is suitable for a club, right? They've not appointed a proper manager for Spurs to follow our DNA of Spurs, the way we play for the past how many years? 4 years, 5 years after now this is okay.
This guy does play that football though. This guy does.
Yeah. No, this guy's that's the problem. Will this bunch of players that we have be able to play the football that Ange wants?
No chance. No.
Chance.
I can categorically tell you that defense cannot play the ball out from the back. It cannot.
Yeah.
The goalkeepers can't. And it starts with them. They can't even make a 10-meter pass.
The thing you got to remember with this as well, Ange Postecoglou's football is a lot of 1, 2, 3 touch, get the ball out, play on quick movement, quick. Our defenders currently need three touches just to fucking control the football. That's just to get the ball under control because they're so hideous at it. I think before I talk about Harry Kane, you mentioned when we're talking about the defense, you mentioned long gap, Sanchez, this, that. The one person who I think deserves another chance, but I think will stand a chance in Postecoglou's team is Ben Davies. And the reason, and I only say Ben Davies because Ben Davies, he may not be good enough, and I agree with that, but he is far better than Sanchez. He is far better than Dyer. Can play on the left, should a Doji not settle in straight away. So I can see Ben Davies being the one that might not. I'm not saying that he's good enough.
Might survive the count.
Do you know what? I tell you I disagree. Right? I see where you're going with it. I tell you I disagree.
Then I'll talk about Kane.
I tell you I disagree. Out of that defense, if I'm looking at players that can actually pass the ball consistently well, I'm looking at Romero and Longley.
Yeah, these two.
But Longley can't defend. Longley can only pass the ball. He just can't do shit else. At least Ben.
No, you're right. You're right. No. Listen, I agree. But Ben Davies, he's a better defender than what he is a passer. Longley's a better passer than what he's a defender. So what do you do?
But when it comes to Kane, this is the Stel. You and I spent some time. We spent time together Sunday. I've been saying for a while now that I think he's gone this season. And if you look at it again, the big caveat is if he does go up my brother Wayne.
Kane.
But yeah, it's this comes down to now if, like you said, he gets the money to reinvest in the squad. And if we do sell Kane, I don't want that money going on another striker because you simply can't buy another striker for that amount of money. Postecoglou can spend that money on a goalkeeper, just like Liverpool did with Coutinho, a defender, just like Liverpool did with Coutinho, and sort out the major problem at this football club. This football club right now, its main issue is the defence. Now, you got to look at it. Do we cash in a £100 million asset or whatever the number is, or let him go for free at the end of the season? I just can't see us not cashing in. And do you know what? Harry Kane, who has done absolutely everything within his power during his time to propel Tottenham to where we need to be. Yes, he had that summer where he wanted Manchester City. But apart from that, he has a remit. You need to get XYZ goals to get us here. He hits the target every single time. Every single time. And the fact this man scored 30 goals, Premier League goals, in this horrific team this season just shows how much class this man has. And do you know what? If he says, Madrid are come calling, I want to go, off you go. I will clap you. I will salute you. I will thank you for the rest of my life for being able for me to witness something that my dad and my grandpa got to see with Jimmy Greaves. Seeing a record goal scorer at your football club. I mean, listen, still, you and me grew up where Gary Lineker was chasing Bobby Charlton, and it took Wayne Rooney to get it. And then obviously Harry Kane has come and done it. Look how long it's taken for someone to come and beat Jimmy Greaves' record. This record, and whatever Harry Kane ends on, we'll be lucky to see it in our lifetime. That another striker comes along, commits that long, and does what he has done. This man has deserved the right to do what. Listen, I would love him to sign a new contract. I would absolutely love to hear breaking news: Harry Kane commits to Tottenham Hotspur. Absolutely love it. But we have to wait and see. I personally think he goes, and if he goes with my appreciation, my love, and best wishes for him and his family in anything they ever do. But I think he does go to Real Madrid.
I think Harry Kane's gone as well. Guys, everyone watching, just very quickly, can you please take 10 seconds out of your day right now, stop everything you're doing, and just hit the like button, and then go to Tottenham on tour, hit the like button, and then go to Spurs Waging TV and hit the like button again. And that'll take about 10 seconds.
Subscribe button, yeah. Subscribe button and like button.
and subscribe button as well. If you need a bit longer, we'll give you another 10 seconds. It's fine.
But Christel, on the Harry Kane thing, I'm going to see it in this way, right? If Madrid comes in with 100 million and he puts in a transfer request, right, and Levy doesn't let him go, right, and forces him to stay, he ain't going to sign a contract.
Why? See, already, but there's a problem here. There's a problem here. There's a problem here, Eugene. Sorry, there's a problem here. Levy shouldn't be making the decision anymore.
No, wait. That's what I'm saying. Of course, Levy's going to make the decision, Stel. It's always
then there's a problem. We got a problem then.
We know that, right, Stel? We come down to it when it comes to £100 million, right? Levy. I mean, it's going to be a Levy. It's going to be a Levy. The
manager might say, "I don't want a player in my team who doesn't want to be here. I don't want him if he doesn't want to be here."
Okay.
Right?
I'm going to ask you a question, right? If you're Harry Kane now, right? You scored 30 goals this season, and we're 8th. We're not in Europe, right?
Yeah, I get it. He wants to go. I agree.
He wants to go.
I would leave if I was Kane. I'd leave.
Yeah, I would leave if I was Kane. But I'm saying is that if he gets forced to stay, like the last time what happened with M City, right? Even though there was rumors about M City putting in a bid, and then Levy denied.
You're going against the manager. You're going against the manager then. The manager has to make that decision.
Come on. We've seen Kane throw his toys out of his prime when Nuno came in, right? It doesn't make any difference, to tell the truth, right? If Kane is forced to stay, I'm just saying, right? I can tell you this, right? If he doesn't get his move out of our club, whether it's to Madrid or Manchester United or to Chelsea or whatever club, he's going to run down that contract, right? And if next season, right, Poch brings Chelsea to the Champions League, you watch Kane go to Chelsea. That's all I'm going to tell you guys. Simple as that. If you force him to stay, right? If you don't force him to stay and you let him go to Real Madrid and start his new career there, he might come back to Spurs after 2 or 3 seasons in Madrid. That's how I see it, right? Like what
I look at it differently. I think if you force Harry Kane to stay this time against his own will, I think you're creating a shitstorm for the whole team because he's not going to play to he's not going to play to his maximum ability in case he gets injured. And we might have a similar scenario like under Nuno, where he started playing very badly, and this manager won't keep playing him. This manager will be like, "You're dropped dead if this is how you are." And then but then you've got a big problem because now you've got your most expensive player sitting on the bench not playing for the club, and that destabilizes the whole team. So this is what I'm saying to you. I don't think Levy can force him to stay this time. Otherwise, you're compromising the rebuild.
Yeah, no, you're right. Listen, you got to remember.
I don't know. Does Levy have power anymore on this, or maybe Eugene's right? I don't know.
You got to think.
Of course, he still got power in all this.
Does Harry Kane fit Ange Postecoglou's style of football? Does he fit? Listen, with Harry Kane, you try and make him fit into any kind of thing you do.
Harry Kane can fit into any.
No, he can't. He can't, Eugene, because if Poch had come back, he can't play the Pochettino press anymore. He can't do it. Yeah. So there's not. Listen, Harry Kane. We've seen him adapt his game for Mourinho. When Mourinho came, he changed his play, and what did he do? Became the record or Golden Boot winner and assists. So he can adapt his game, but it's asking a lot of him now. And it looks at it, and I've heard it. I've heard the things. Oh, he won't want to move. His wife's pregnant.
Oh no!
They have really good hospitals in Madrid. Incredible hospitals in Madrid. And let's face it, if he goes to Real Madrid, he ain't going on the Spanish equivalent of the NHS. Gareth Bale went out there, had his kid. Whilst people do that, people do it. When I heard, he won't want to uproot his family. Well, if he's getting 500 grand a week or whatever he is, and it's maybe one of the biggest large contracts he signed, of course he will. We can't take this out. It all comes down to whether Harry Kane wants to remain at Tottenham Hotspur all his career, like a Steven Gerrard, or no, Steven Gerrard went to America, but for the longevity, if he wants to keep his best years at Tottenham Hotspur and then do Europe, or go to Europe and possibly come back. Harry Kane is an exceptional player. And people keep saying, oh, yeah, but one trophy at Tottenham will be more than 10 at any other club. And they will be. It's just like what Steven Gerrard said when he could have gone to Chelsea, when he said one trophy at Liverpool would be more to me than 10 anywhere else. But the difference between Gerrard and Liverpool is he believed Liverpool
they can win something.
will at least try to back the manager and will always, because of the history of Liverpool, that they will always compete. And they did, and he was there, and he did what he did. Does Harry Kane have the same belief at Tottenham Hotspur? Yeah. And my answer to that is, if he has, he's got a screw loose.
I'll come back. I'll come back to the moving the family thing again.
It's true. Okay, we as fans don't even go to games anymore because we're fed up of it. How must he feel?
Yeah. No, I'll come back to the moving the family thing, right? Okay. If, like, say, I'm Chinese, right? If my wife is pregnant, right? Usually we don't move house. You get what I'm saying? We don't move house because it's bad feng shui. You see, you want to keep your wife safe in the same environment until the child is given birth. But to tell the truth, even if Harry Kane has to move to Real Madrid, right?
Harry Kane's not Chinese.
No, okay, never mind. Let's say he's worried about the feng shui and all that, right? Okay.
No,
okay.
Thanks for the clarification stuff.
Yeah,
it's like saying I'm from Mexico, and in Mexico we've got this rule. He's not Mexican, is he?
No, but there's certain cultures got certain beliefs. Still, you know what I'm saying? So, let's say if Harry Kane moved to Madrid,
what belief has he got?
I don't know, right? Whether he believes it or not, but I don't know. Maybe he's got a feng shui master. That's why he's scoring 30 goals a season, right? For all you know.
I don't think so.
You never know.
Okay, let's go.
You never know, right? But okay, Mrs. Kane can have the baby first, then move the family over later. He can go over first. Man, 500 grand a week, right? 500 grand a week, man.
Eugene, my friend's wife, before COVID, she worked as the PA to the players at the training ground. So, for example, Dele Alli would go up. Spurs, yeah. Dele Alli would go up to her and say, "It's my cousin's birthday this week. Can you sort out a gift?" She'd be like, "Yeah, sure. What's the budget?" And she'd go off, get a £3,000 plasma TV, wrap it up, write the card, send it. Yeah. So it's all right. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because
she was Chinese.
Yeah, she might be. She was Chinese. She might be pregnant, and she might have kids and whatnot. But everything is on a plate.
I know.
Them.
Yeah.
So they won't pack any furniture. They won't have to find the new house. They won't have to deal with the solicitors. It's all done for them. All they will do is get on a plane, go, and everything. It's almost to the point of where someone ties their shoelace for them. Yeah, that's the life they lead. That's the pro footballer elite level lifestyle. So I don't think it's a big issue. I think fans make the whole family thing a bigger issue than what it really is, in my view.
Yeah. So if Kane can't move out of London because of family, right? So he's going to Chelsea. That's all. End of.
Listen,
maybe. I think Chelsea's a possibility.
I think it possibly could be as well, and that was before Poch came in. But it's just a case of what we've got to make sure that happens is if it is going to happen, it gets dealt with quickly, so we can adjust and do what we need to do. Not let's sell Dimitar Berbatov on the last second of the transfer window and get Fraser Campbell in return. Let's sell Gareth Bale. Right, we spent the Gareth Bale money right at the beginning, but then we sold him right at the end. If this is going to happen, if this is to happen, if it is to happen, this doesn't need to be a long drawn out. Will he? Won't he? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Maybe he is. Breaking news. Let's go over here. ITK's talking their nonsense. This needs to be okay. Harry Kane is joining XYZ, or no, Harry Kane is staying at Tottenham Hotspur, and then we cut our cloth and move accordingly. Not one of these fucking long drawn out, absolute transfer sagas that just go on.
That's true. That's true. But don't worry, Brian.
Can I
always draw out and get prolonged, and the drama will be there, so we can make more content.
I want to bring up something. I just want to show people just a few bits, because a lot of people are kind of in dispute over whether this player works or doesn't work and what to do with the system. But let me just show you guys a few things, and then you can make a decision by yourselves, right? So I did this last night. I'll do it again. This is my fake tactics board. Spurs are in blue. They're playing a 4-4-3-3. Okay. And there's just a few things here that I want to point out. The first of all,
saying Spurs are in blue is almost as good as saying Kane is Chinese. So well done on a blue and red. Spurs are in blue.
Spurs are in blue and they're all Chinese. But effectively, they typically play with inverted wing backs. So the wing backs kind of come into the midfield area like this, right? And what you'll see is in the middle of the three, one player will push out wide. The wide of the three comes here. So then what you have is you have 1, 2, 3 against 2, and it makes what should be a triangle. That's all there. And they play that triangle 3 against 2 to play it out from the back. So the goalie would pass the ball over here or to the centre back pass over here. And then they create an overload out wide, and they do the same down. They would do the same down here. So it works both ways. So just think now of these players, okay? Let's have a think. Ben Davies. Who's this? Perisic, Udogie, and Son. Can all of them three play this? One can. Sorry, two can, one can't. So it breaks down already. So we've got to think about what players we've got. Going forward, what you'll see a lot more of is rather than the wing backs bombing on forward with with Ange's system, these three players quite often 1 touch or 2 touch will look to pass the ball there. They're looking to make one pass that splits the entire defensive line. So the pass will kind of, I've got an arrow here. Let's say this is the pass.
Help my mum. I'll be back.
Go for it. The pass would go there. And they look for that pass more than playing out wide like we've normally done. And the other thing I've noticed with Celtic, the way Ange plays, and do you know what? There's Celtic fans in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. This is just what I've noticed. But we try and get a lot of our players onto one side of the pitch. And that draws them over. And then what happens is you get this gap here. Okay. And then the wing back or the wide left or wide right, whatever, will go into this space here. And then what often happens is, rather than crossing the ball from here, the ball is crossed from here, edge of the box. So either you swing a ball to the back post, and then this player runs on to either shoot, or what I see Celtic do a lot, takes a touch, passes it here, then this player taps it in. Or if you can't cross the ball there, because you're nice and close to the penalty box and you're not out here, it's a short pass there or there. So it's short passes into this zone here. Now, look, that's what I've noticed in terms of playing from the back, penetrating passes from deep midfield, and overloading one side of the attacking quadrant and then passing it from the edge of the box in or sweeping it to the back post. Have we got the players to do this? Now, imagine that ball across to the wing back and it's Porro. For Porro, this could work because he knows how to finish. He's got a good strike of the ball on him. But for the other wing back, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Again, you've got to look at the three in the middle playing those through balls. Yeah. Can Basuma do it? I don't know. Bentancur can, but he's the only one I've seen do it. So
but still, okay.
Mobiek sometimes can.
Okay, based on what you're saying now, this is the Ange tactic, correct?
This is this is some of the bits I've noticed his team.
No, you notice how Ange
there's more to it.
How the players run around, how they play, and the most important thing about what Ange does is that I think it's about the 3 to 5 yard passes have to be very accurate to each of these players before you can actually reach the penalty the penalty box. You understand what I'm saying? Our players are so used to at this moment now, right, playing the ball across the midway line half the time, and they're too slow. How is he going to change this mindset? Because I think the players that we have now, right, I think it got damaged after when Poch came in, then Mourinho came in, right? Somehow or another, they've been programmed into the way, right? And Nuno, then now Conte, right? Their mindset have gone to, we don't go forward, we go sideways and backwards first, right? So that is the problem. How are you going to change that mindset in the players?
I think Eugene, the mindset, you can change it. That takes time. That takes 6 to 12 months. Anyone that tells you difference is talking shit. You need 6 to 12 months. If you look at Ten Hag when he first started, it was rocky. A year in, Man United began to look like they could move the ball around. So 6 to 12 months, you can change the mindset. That's not a problem. It's just a lot of repetition of the practice. Keep repeating the same passing drills, patterns of play, rondons, whatever passing practice you want to do. Just keep repeating it.
Then we come.
The problem is, though, Eugene, the problem is, 1 minute, no, the problem is this. You can't now teach players how to have a good first touch and how to make an accurate, well-weighted pass. That you learn as a youngster. That's what gets you out of the academy into the first team. Right?
Okay, still, so, like you were saying, right?
You're not going to turn Eric Dyer into a good passer. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
That's right. You're not going to turn Ben Davies into a good passer, right?
He can't pass the ball out.
He can't pass the ball out. You're saying if they all play to one side of the left,
Longley can.
Longley can, right? They can't do it, right? We've been saying Davies can't pass the ball for 3 yards, for 2 years, right? And somehow or another, okay, fair to say, Conte got a tune out of them in the last part of the previous season and all that, and we got top 4, right? But after that, he saw our weakness, and it wasn't changed, and that's why he blew up. And to tell the truth, he really blew up in November, right? And he blew up again. So the players can't. If
you look at Conte's Inter Milan team, they passed the ball really well, right? They did.
Yeah.
But when you look at that team, they had Barella, they had Brozovic, they had Eriksson, they had Skriniar, they had De Vrij, they had ball players, Hakimi, right? They had ball players. So for me, again, it's going to come down to the same thing. It doesn't matter what manager we have. If you want to see a good style of football, attacking and potentially successful, it's going to come down to the technical qualities of the player, but most importantly, the decision-making. So if you tell a player, I want the ball to go forward as quickly as possible, and I don't want you hanging on to the ball 3, 4, 5, 6 touches, it's down to the player to then go and do that. Now, if the player doesn't do that, sorry, it doesn't work. And I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem that Mourinho and Conte had. They didn't listen to what they were being told to do. I think that was part of the problem.
Let's look at this another way. I mean, I've got 2 players, and they're actually at Crystal Palace. Left centre back. Let's look at it left centre back. And from what you've been discussing on Postecoglou and the way he plays, being realistic, who do you reckon is out there that is gettable for Tottenham Hotspur? For me, it's Joachim Anderson, or Guehi, both at Palace. Guehi being a Spurs lad as well, supporting Tottenham. I think if you're looking at it, because I think Anderson is the perfect centre-back for him. It kind of gives me very, very similar. Him and Romero give me the perfect combination we've had, and probably the best defensive partnership people will talk about, since you and me have been alive, Still, people will talk about, and I didn't really get to see all the season that Richard Goff and Gary Mabbott had together in '87 when we lost to Coventry were apparently an incredible partnership. And Richard Gough was that silky ball playing but very hard defender that went in on the tackle and complemented Gary Mabbott. Then you have Ledley King, who anyone that played alongside him looked better. But there's no doubt for a lot of people, the best defensive partnership was Jan and Toby, without question, like in our recent history. I think we've got, with Romero, it's all about finding that right defender for him, where he hasn't got to be so rash, where he hasn't got to try and be so quick and reckless because of the crap that he's got around him. And I think Joachim Andersen, being realistic with who we can get, not saying Bastoni, Gavardio. For me,
what positions do you thinking about, Brian? Centre back, I agree. Anderson for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm asking, and Eugene, I think the left centre back.
Apparently, he's 50 million pounds though now. 50 million now. Apparently,
that's what you're gonna have to pay now, isn't it? Let's face it, this is a position we have to get right. Before we got him 2
seasons ago, he was 25 million pounds or something, right? So
this is before we even start talking about the goalkeeper, and this is why, again, when it comes to the Harry Kane money, I think it's needed to be done to sort out the shit at the back. Exactly like what Coutinho money did with Liverpool. I think we're at that crossroad where we've got to sell our prize asset whilst we can to bring in the quality. I mean, if we could sort out that defence, Heung-min Son playing in the middle as opposed to the left under Postecoglou, I think could do a job. I think Richarlison, during the output, could do something in a post. You know what I mean? There are people there to fill in those positions, not in defence. There's not a single person.
See, Shami, all right, this is what we need to understand.
Big time.
You're right. Bissouma did play possession football under Potter. He'll be perfect for Postecoglou. Not necessarily, no. Postecoglou, the ball goes forward. Keeping possession could be sideways, backwards, just moving the ball, switching the play, right? Postecoglou's not like that. It's quick and it's forward. It's very progressive. It's not, let's build it up. It's quite explosive, actually. So this is why I said I don't know if Bissouma can play that, because in a 3-man midfield, you're looking for him to make killer passes that splits the defenders and feeds the wide players cutting in on the striker. I've not seen Bissouma do that. The only player I've seen do that at Spurs is Bentancur and Højbjerg. Højbjerg once in a while plays this unbelievable pass. He pulls it out of his backside because he doesn't do much often. But so again, if he can coach Bissouma to use that technical ability he's got to play those types of passes, then I'll agree with you. But I haven't seen that in him yet.
So I think this is the thing
maybe he did it more at Brighton. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him in Brighton. But at Spurs, I haven't seen it.
Just to come in on that as well, I think what we've got to look at as well is we have all raved or looked at what Emery has done at Aston Villa with the play. He's actually been allowed to coach the players and improve them. Hopefully Postecoglou is that type of manager that can improve. I'm not saying everyone, I'm not saying the Dyers and whatever, but there's certain players that I think will flourish under him. And I think Bissouma is one. I think Porro is another one. And we shall have to wait and see. But I'm actually looking forward to actually having someone that, as we were saying earlier on the stream still, where he hasn't come with baggage. He hasn't come with that.
Yeah. That's stuff. A big one for me. That's a big one.
Absolutely loving and admiring him. I'm actually excited to see what he can do. And also the most excited I am about this, and I saw someone put it in the comments, and I can't let it slide because people know how much I love the guy. Hopefully this is the guy that starts giving Alfie Divine minutes. I really, really, really hope so. Because
how old's Alfie Divine, Brian?
18. He'll be 19 August the 1st. Not that I'm stalking him or anything.
So this is how I would look at it, right? This is how I would look at it, right? He's 18 years old. When's he 19?
August the 1st.
Right. Let's just say he's 19, right? 2 months' time, right? He's 19. Postecoglou signed a 4-year contract. That's Alfie Devine until he's 23.
Yeah.
So there's every reason, if this boy's good enough, to be part of the plan. Because you're talking about a 19-year-old going into his 20s, 21, 22 onwards, whilst this manager's contractually obliged to be at Spurs.
Just look what he's doing. Just put it this way. First of all, look.
Whereas under Conte and Mourinho, I thought it was too early because he was 16, 17. They weren't going to take a punt. But now,
look what Alfie Devine has been doing for England recently at the international tournament he's at.
I've seen.
Yeah.
And then you've also got to look at it. Daniel Levy also said himself he understands the link between youth team and first team. And for me, Alfie Devine, if you're thinking any youngsters, listen, we've got great youngsters coming through like Mikey Moore, but he is way too young right now. Dorrington, Alfie Devine, and Stel, you know me long enough and how much I've been waxing. So does Eugene and anyone that has watched me.
Yeah.
This is the manager. So hopefully say in the Carabao Cup or something, now is your time. Now is the time to unleash him, because if you're old enough, if you're good enough, you're old enough, or whatever the phrase is. And hopefully this is where we get to see Alfie Devine do what Alfie Devine does. And I've said it from the beginning. If he gets into this first team, not saying he'll be a starter all the time, but he will be on that bench or starting by right, because he is a star in the making. I keep saying this, and I'm hoping this is the manager that gives him the chance and the opportunity.
Listen, there's a couple of centre-backs in the academy who I have seen they look impressive, but again, the leap to adult football is different. You don't know until you give them regular minutes, lots of chances, and just be patient. But the two that have caught my eyes, one was recently Donington. He looks like a player.
Yep,
Donington looks like a player. And the other one is a left-sided centre-back called Charlie Sawyers. Now, them two, we should be looking at bringing in my opinion. But I don't know what they're like in terms of their passing game under this system. But listen, we can't get worse than long gaps and Sanchez's and Dyers. I mean, come on.
You look at it still. When it comes to defenders, this is something Spurs have done. They did it with Ledley, obviously, but he started in midfield. They did it with Judas, but obviously he started as a striker and worked his way back. And most recently, they did it with Tanganga. And they all came in and started off brightly. So in defence, these players that have been brought in have been able to mix it. All right, Tanganga has gone off the boil and had a lot of injuries, but we have done it with the defensive players. I think I'm being serious. I think the last attacking player, is Harry Kane? Seriously? Or Dane Scarlett's had a couple of opportunities, but I mean,
the
one attacking player that has had a real push, deservedly so, is Harry Kane. Nketiah would be incredible, and I really wanted him last January, whoever brought that last comment up, but he signed a brand new contract with Leverkusen in January. He ain't going anywhere. And if he is going anywhere, it's going to take mega money, and that's where this story ends with us.
True.
No, Grandpa, there's no news about sporting director of football. I'll be honest with you, I don't think we're getting one. From what I've understood, Postecoglou, he just goes to clubs with no team, no director, just does it.
I think Scott Munn will be his director of football, I guess. Yeah.
I heard a few weeks ago that apparently we're not even looking for that. And now you look at it, it kind of breaks into that, because apparently the club has said it's been broken that apparently Levy was talking to Postecoglou's agent for a long, long time, like for a few months. So maybe with this being in motion, we don't know, so I can't say this is factual. Maybe it was Ange that said, listen, me and Scott Munn will deal with it. We don't need a DOF. We're handling it. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll never know. We never get told anyway, so
we're gonna find out. And I think because I do want to start wrapping up soon. I only want to go for an hour and a half because I've got work and whatnot. But I do feel that a lot of us fans will make our decision on how we really feel about what's going on at the moment once the transfer window ends, because at that point we will know what's come in, what's gone out, who stayed, and
But
how
still,
the squad is looking. Because I
But
tell
still,
you what,
wait. The transfer
You
window
go.
ends when? End of August?
1st of September.
1st of September, right?
Well,
Actually,
1st of August is the last day. 1st of September it's shut, yeah.
1st September is it shuts, right? So to tell you the truth, right? Our fans, right? Within the first 3 games, right? We will know, right? If we don't get the players out and Ange gets a tune out of them, they ain't going anywhere. Okay. And if Ange loses the first 3 games, right, before the transfer window closes and no new players come in, Ange will be gone real fast. So
Listen,
I see that. Bullshit again.
I think fans will react depending on what happens at other clubs. So if Arsenal hit the ground running and they're flying again, Poch turns it around quick.
Yeah.
I can see our fans getting very impatient. If and I'll tell you now, and I know Brian's going to be the same, and I know you're going to be the same, and all the Levy and Cal lot, we're going to be the same. If this transfer window begins to stink, we're going to absolutely bring the whole house down, because there is no point starting off on the wrong foot with this guy. There should never be a good point for that. But if we start off on the wrong foot with this guy, it's going to be. We will be in a relegation fight if we don't get this window right, damn it. We will be in a freaking relegation fight, especially if Kane goes. So it's not just about him succeeding. It's avoiding the drop. Let's have it right.
Yep.
We're on the brink. We conceded. Only the teams from 16th to 20th conceded more goals than us.
So I'm going to say something now. And I think I said it still on your show when we're talking about... when I came on Mari's show, when we're talking about the last game of the season and how important it was to protest. When Arne Slot was about to be announced, or we thought he was, and the news was breaking, the day I told you, Stel, that it's going to fall apart tomorrow, and it did. I had a guy, I'm not going to bring his name up because it's not fair on him, but he is Levy out. He's on a channel that isn't so Levy out. And he was saying, Brian, and I do a lot of these Twitter spaces, and he was like, Brian, listen, and he mentioned a few of the protesters, Billy Carnes, and everyone said, listen, if Arne Slot comes in, I think you need to take the banners down. You need to stop this and change it from Levy out to back Arne Slot. When this happens, what do you think? And I said, no. I said, listen, we are way too far down the line for this, and I know what this man does, and this isn't about a manager. Right now, where we are with Levy out, we are further. If we're climbing up the mountain, we're past the halfway point. There is no way we are returning back to the summit just so when things fuck up again that we have to start from ground zero. There is no more ground zero. We have kind of like Mario. When you're playing Mario and you got past the halfway line, you got a flag, and then if you died, you started from there. That's where we are now. Now, just because Postecoglou has come in, people are saying, surely that's Levy out in the mud. That's it. It's one manager appointment. He needs to now back a manager. He now needs to listen to Scott Munn. He now needs to make sure that the manager and the whatever chief footballing officer are allowed to do the footballing things. There is no stopping the Levy out protest. There is no stopping the Levy out movement. It just doesn't stop. And like Stel said, come the transfer window open in the season fast approaching, we will be doing what we do. And that is, listen, we had nothing bad about Poch. We had nothing bad about Conte. We had nothing bad about Mourinho. We were even there with Stellini when Stellini was announced. Mason, it was like, okay, whatever. There was no one to get in at that time. This has always been anti-Levy, anti-ENIC, anti-board. We don't stop whilst their air is in our lungs until Levy out, ENIC out, Cullen out becomes Levy gone, Cullen gone, ENIC gone. There is no stopping. He has done the right thing in approach. Finally, 4 years after announcing he wants to play football in the Tottenham way, and after 5 managers, he's gone back to what he said. There is no going back. This is a good day for Tottenham Hotspur, the football club, and having a manager that has come in and he's got the 4-year contract to manage this football club. Will he be able to manage this football club the way he wants to? That is what we're about to wait and see. But just because he has been announced, I don't wake up tomorrow and go, oh, look, Ange Postecoglou's there. I've got that Men in Black thing and I've completely wiped my memory of everything that's happened in the previous 22 years. No. Levy is still public enemy number 1 with us until he's gone. It doesn't matter who comes in. It doesn't matter who leaves the club. It doesn't matter what players come in. There is always an angle. Ryan Isaacs, have you seen? Did Ryan Isaacs text you a picture still? So I got a picture from Ryan within an hour of Tottenham Hotspur announcing Postecoglou as the manager, and I'm going to see if it comes up on this. What's his name? Was outside. Who's the guy for Sky Sports? The Tottenham guy again?
Michael Bridge.
Michael Bridge.
Within an hour was handed this by Tottenham Hotspur. It is a mug with the Australian flag and the Tottenham emblem.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh dear.
Within an hour of his appointment, we're rolling out mugs and going, sell the merchandise, sell the merchandise, sell the merchandise.
or maybe he's just telling him he's a mug.
One of the two. But that's what this football club does.
No offense, I was just joking.
I know you know Michael Bridge.
Listen, Brian, look, like I've said, guys, for me, I'm Levy out and Enoch out. Signing Postecoglou doesn't change a damn thing for me. I will decide exactly what the reality is when the transfer window ends. If I see...
When does the transfer window open?
31st of August. 11
when
PM.
is it open?
This week, I think.
Is it open already? The transfer window?
Yeah, I think the fixtures come out as well. But for me, it's pretty simple. I'm realistic enough to say we're not going to get rid of all the deadwood. I just don't think it's a massive job.
Possible, yeah.
But if I don't see significant faces out, the Harry Kane situation sorted early, and new faces in the key positions, centre back, goalie, not randoms, significant faces, then for me, I'm going full on Enoch out, Levy out from day 1 next season. And that's how I am with it. But if I do see a Dyer, a Sanchez out, a new good centre-back come in, a creative mid come in, Harry Kane situation beginning to resolve itself, then I'll be like, okay, you get a year from me. But come January, you better do some more. And come the next summer, I need to see. And if you don't keep consistently doing what needs to be done, all I need is one window of negligence, and I'm full on Enoch and Levy out. That's it. Because we've been here before. We've been here with Poch, with Redknapp, with AVB, with Conte.
My point of view.
We have been here too many times to just get, yay, Postecoglou. He's a likable guy. Yeah, but we've said a lot of good things about other people before as well. So I'm not getting sold short like that. Not yet.
But for me, still, I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to do...
Well, you're leaving in the car. I can see it on your back screen already.
All the time. I don't care. I'm going to do it every week, right? Until it ends. I've had enough. Until it ends, right? Because remember, Brian, when Conte came in, we stopped. We pulled the brakes, right? And I told you personally, right? The shit show will come back, right? And we pulled the brakes and we lost momentum. No more. I ain't going to bloody fucking lose momentum anymore, right? I'm going to do a weekly Levy Out show, no matter what. I don't care. Maybe I'll just put on the screen and I'll just say Levy Out, in and out for 1 hour. I'll just do it, right? Enough is enough. Because I can tell you, Ange is coming in, Levy is still going to be in control, right? And he's still going to get screwed from day one. We're going to get stuck with the same players. Yeah. Like now the excuse is we can't get enough players out. Of course, I know we can't get 20 players out at one time, but are we going to get the correct players out and bring in the correct players in for the manager?
You just go back to that comment still.
We are behind the manager. We're always behind the manager.
Support
the team, not the regime.
This is the team. We've spent this whole stream. I've gone on streams. I've gone on my Twitter and said,
the regime.
I am very excited with Ange Postecoglou. I am excited and I approve this appointment. We are 100% behind the manager, like we always are.
With this.
I am just not. I back the manager. I back the team. I just do not back the regime. End of. And
Yeah,
like Eugene said,
enough.
I don't care if we win a cup this year. I'll
Yeah,
still be Levy out.
yeah. 1 year ago, I said even we win the Premier League, I'm still going to be Levy out.
Same here.
Right? Yeah, same here because I can't trust him. Right? After 2 or 3 years of bullshit, lies. Right? Now he goes back to where he is. Right? Where can I buy the mugs? Right? I think we're going to get screwed again. That's all. Guys, just sit back and watch the shit show. We are Spurs. Right? That's all.
Look, Eugene, listen, I expect the same old to happen, but like I said, I'm going to take a slightly different stance to this. I'm not Enoch and Levy in, no way. But what I am saying is this: this manager doesn't come with any baggage. This manager comes with nothing but respect and praise from everyone he's touched, worked with, fans, media, coaches, chairman. So I'm gonna take it all with a pinch of salt and say, let's see what happens here. I'm not making any. But wait. Caveat. If there's one chairman in world football that can destroy that, it's this moron, idiotic, imbecile of a chairman, Daniel Levy. He's the one that could do the impossible and make the happiest person the saddest. He's the only one with these powers. So
I give an example, right?
I'm very careful.
The example is that we bring in Jose Mourinho, that's gone to every club he's worked at and won trophies, right? And gets sacked 5 days before a club final.
Yeah, but Mourinho's got a history of kicking off with people. That's what I'm saying.
Even
this guy doesn't. History. This guy doesn't. That's why I'm a little bit different.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're bringing in the nicest guy, the guy with the most respect in football at the moment that we all see he has, right?
I don't think he's a nice guy. I just think he's a good guy.
No, a good guy. A respected guy with credibility, integrity, right? Compassion and all that shit. Put him to Levy, right? And let's see that all turn into shit. Well, that's all.
That's exactly what I just said. If there's one chairman that could make the happiest person sad, that's why. Anyway, look. Before we wrap it up, I just want to quickly say there was a question,
and he gave Conte a gallbladder problem, right?
Do you think Harry Kewell will come in as a coach? No idea. We're going to find out.
So I know I got given the names of 2 coaches that are coming along with him.
Stratton's coming in.
Gavin Stratton and Jonathan Kennedy.
Something like that, and Harry Kewell's name wasn't mentioned. To be honest, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know Harry Kewell was on his coaching team at Celtic. So that's something. I mean, if he brings him in again, it's another footballing person. Whether it's a Tottenham person or not, doesn't matter. It's a footballing person at the club, and that's what we need. That's what we need. We need footballing people around this football club, and hopefully that will happen. But from the 2. And I just want to say, I'm getting a lot of big ups and people happy to see me back. I've obviously taken a bit of time out for obvious reasons. I just want to say thank you to everyone for their support online and messages and everything. So yeah, just want to say big up to those. But yeah, we'll wait and see what coaches do. There you go, Kennedy. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if he brings Harry Kewell. Listen, whoever he wants to bring in.
Yeah.
This guy has won, I think it's 5 to 7 trophies in the last 5 years or something like that. He's won something like 7 trophies in 3 countries since we last won a trophy. Who are we as Tottenham Hotspur to say anything else?
Alex, I think you're confusing 2 things, right? Yeah. You're saying the Levy out movement should stop until January to give this coach the best possibility, right? Let me separate the 2 things. Levy out is about the chairman and the board. This guy, the manager, we 100% support and back. That's why we haven't said a bad word or criticized the manager at all. We're happy that he's the manager. We're okay with it. No issue. But if we don't continue Levy out, if we don't continue Enoch out, where's the pressure on the board to not mess this manager that you say deserves the best possible start? For him to get the best possible start, we need to keep the heat on the board. And that's what we do. Our heat, our anger is the board. It's never been the manager. I need to stress that because people put the 2 together. We don't put the 2 together.
Yeah, I mean, what you got to look at this as well, still, is there's loads of people that aren't Levy out that are having a go at the manager. So that's a third-rate manager. It's we've brought in a B-Tech manager. Oh, look at that! I thought we could get better.
I don't know who they thought we could get. What manager wants to come here?
So well, I don't know why every single time this comes, it's Levy out people that I haven't seen a solitary Levy out person that I know to say, oh, do you know what? This is a shit appointment. I'm not behind the manager. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. We're all here saying the manager gets our support unconditionally, and he will continue to do so. I think you got to look at fans that aren't saying this and say, well, a minute, you should be backing this manager, not saying this, because it isn't just Levy out people that are saying this. This has split a lot of fans. And as you can see, there's 3 Levy out people right here, right now, that are giving.
Well, you had the no to Postecoglou campaign doing the rounds on social media.
Yeah, I didn't understand
that. Wasn't us. That wasn't us. That wasn't us.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's true.
You won't see me doing that.
Part. Yeah, and that's the weird part. He hasn't really come in yet, right? And it's really no to Postecoglou. Oh dear.
There was another question here saying, what do you think of the Harry Maguire links? Listen, I'll be honest with you. I think they're rubbish. I think it's media frenzy. And I'll tell you now, if Harry Maguire joins this Ange team, Ange is a fraud. Absolute fraud.
Mate, no. Still. That you've got, do you know what?
Or Levy's a fraud.
Remember,
someone at the club is a fraud because
what you've got to remember,
he can't play in the Postecoglou team. He's a fraud because he's accepting him coming in. He should
then it's going to be one of those.
He should walk out.
Exactly. It's going to be one of those squad signings like Spence. This link with Harry Maguire has been about long before Ange Postecoglou was even mentioned as a possibility. This was still whilst Conte was in charge.
This can't happen.
Yeah.
And then do you know what? I saw
someone. We were linked in last January, still.
I saw someone on Twitter going, "Oh yeah, Daniel Levy, that scapegoat. Harry Maguire, the £100 million defender." Well, first of all, it was 85 million. Just because Man U was stupid enough to pay it doesn't mean that, if we get him, it means that we spent money correctly. And that's the big problem. If Harry Maguire comes into this squad, it will be yet again another squad signing made by his truly. And this is why we've got to stop this. If people like him come into this football club, like you said, Stel, we know exactly who is running this transfer window. And it won't be Ange Postecoglou.
Jonathan Black, you say Harry Maguire is no worse than Eric Dyer, to be fair. LOL. I'm glad you put LOL at the end because I nearly took you seriously. Dude, they're both no good. Both of them. Not for the way we want to play, I think. I think that's the best way of putting it. The way we want to play, they don't suit that. That's how I look at it. Listen, guys, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone watching today. Big up to Swift in-house.
Big up to
Santu and Felix for the super chats. Thank you so much. Also, I want to give a big up to Eugene and Brian. Make sure, please, get over to Tottenham on Tour. Subscribe, like, go over to Persuasion TV. Subscribe, like, and seeing as you're on this channel already, give us a subscribe and a like as well. Much appreciated, guys. We're gonna be covering any developments over the summer. We're going to keep doing our Monday shows. Our Mondays, we never stop doing them. So each Monday we'll have a weekly update and discussion. Iggy, Mari will be putting shows randomly during the week as well. But go over to Tottenham on Tour, check out all their shows that they put out. I know Brian does quite a lot of daily content. Eugene as well, keeping the Levy Out movement live.
I'll be doing a Levy Out show this Thursday, 5 p.m. UK time. Right, I'll be going through the owners and the board of directors one by one, analyzing what they are and what they're doing and all that. And we're going to do the whole load of them. Joe Lewis, Levy, Cullen, Pepperhorn, Turner, right? And the whole rest of them, we go one by one. So this we call part one. And any of you guys want to join me? Yep, you guys can join me. I'm just going to shout out their names, right? Talk about them over and over again and give them the big thumbs up.
Eugene, I've got to go. I'll speak to you later on.
All right.
Brian, see you later, mate. Take care.
See you later. All right.
Well, we're going to go as well now.
Yeah, we're going to go.
Guys, listen, big up, everyone. Take care. We'll see you soon. What day is it today? Tuesday.
I'll see you guys Thursday.
Thursday. I'm sure we'll have a show coming out at some point in this week. Just keep an eye on
Mari doing the Wednesday show?
Say again?
Mari doing the Wednesday Spurs?
Yes,
show?
that's it. Mari's doing a Wednesday show. Check out Wednesday, around about 10 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. USA, 5 p.m. USA.
I'll be asleep by then.
I'll be watching. I'll be watching. Guys, listen, big up. Take care.
Right. Thanks, every guy in the chats. Right.
Take care. Ange in, Levy out.
Levy out. And as always, Levy out since Brian isn't here.
Levy out.
Out.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.